Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Rohin, who is the co-founder of the Sold Store, which is an e-commerce platform that sells apparel and fashion wear. I think it's a pretty well-known platform. Uh, Hi Rohin, welcome to ELI.
Thank you so much for having me.
I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Yes, my name is Rohin Samtaney. I'm one of the co-founders at the Soul Store. The Soul Store is a casual wear youth apparel brand that was started almost 9 years ago now. Um, I come from an engineering background. I have done my chemical engineering and then worked at a finance firm for 2 years. Post that, me and my co-founders began to like started to think about entrepreneurship and doing some like building a company of our own. So we quit our jobs and like started this, and now it's been like 9 years.
Tell us about the Soul Store. I think it's a pretty well-known e-commerce platform, and many of the listeners will already know or visited the Soul Store. But tell us about it from the founder's point of view, how it is and what it is.
We are an online first brand. Like I said, we are 9 years old, almost 9 years old now. What our niche or how we began was like, which currently is still our niche, is we sell pop culture merchandise, which is official licensed merchandise. We began with that and have kind of continued to dominate that space. We sell products, casual wear products like t-shirts, like the stuff I'm wearing, or joggers and boxers and like casual shirts and dresses, and like for men and women. So like dresses for women and like all kinds of like apparel wear that you can kind of think of. Earlier, our niche was very pop culture and official license dominated. Over the years, we kind of expanded into larger casual wear. So apart from your Harry Potters and Batmans and Supermans that you'll see designs of, but you'll also see like plain solids or just generic kind of designs that are not associated with any TV or movies and stuff like that. So it's gone beyond just official merch and like wider, just casual wear, you can call it.
Okay. What would you say is the problem statement, if there is any, that you are solving through your venture?
The problem statement has evolved over years. Like initially, it was the access to official merch. The reason why we started the Soul Store was because we are fans of all of these things that we sell. And
Okay.
in 2013, when we started, there wasn't any access to it. Like if I wanted a T-shirt or like a poster or like anything of my favorite band or movies and stuff like that, it wasn't available in India. And I used to, I guess, I used to tell my friends in the US maybe to get it for me. So that we knew that was like a space or a gap that we were ourselves kind of struggling with. And that was the problem statement then, like to get all these official like licenses from Disney and Warner Brothers and get them to India and sell this at affordable pricing. um, because even if I got it earlier, either it was a 2,000 rupee T-shirt from the US,
Mhm.
or like a cheap fake of the street, which was maybe 200 bucks but bad quality and wouldn't last really good, or like didn't have good designs. So this was the gap we were solving, and that's now kind of become mainstream in a sense where now this is not as much of a problem to get like your favorite movies and TV shows and kind of putting them on apparel on anything that you want to wear. Now the problem statement is like we are kind of consolidating casual wear where there's a lot of players. Can we kind of consolidate and make a great brand that's affordable, that provides great service and like just unique designs, and can we cater to like this big market that we have? So now it's more about building a casual wear brand and kind of consolidating these fragments that are there. Like a lot of small brands would be there. Can we kind of become the face of casual wear in India?
Okay. Uh, Tell us a little bit about the initial days. I understand you had an idea, but making a business out of it is really a tough job. So, how it all started? How did you? I understand you had a corporate career as well. How did the transition happen, and whatever the initial setup things that you did to start this venture?
I mean, initially it was a lot of ideation when we were at our current jobs as well. And like the first thought was, hey, like if you want to start something of our own, we are like around 24 years old. We were 24 years old back then. So if you want to start something, we're like, if you want to try something and even fail at it now is the time. We don't want to do that when we're, I guess, 30.
Mm.
Um, Initially, we started like brainstorming, kind of understanding that this is like a official merch, or like these kind of designs are not there at the moment and we can fill that gap. um, One of my founders quit our job, like the all of us used to actually work at the same firm, surprisingly. And we quit together, not together, but like the three of us kind of started it, but one of us like left 6 months earlier to kind of start doing the groundwork, which is like, hey, let me look at fabric and let me get in touch with manufacturers. Like, how can we really kind of do this? And those 6 months was spent in kind of a lot of groundwork and ideation, and what our first set of designs going to be. Speaking to manufacturers, understanding the space, because none of us actually come from any kind of apparel or like any kind of background. So this was what we did in the first 6 months. Uh, we launched in June 2013, which is also the month where finally the rest of the two of us also quit our jobs. But the first kind of big, interesting break that we got was with the NH7 Weekender, which was right in June, where we kind of got the contract to make the merch for the festival that was happening in December that year. And that was a big uh, stepping stone for us, because it exposed us to a variety of people. Through NH7, we got so many more orders and we got so much more visibility on who we are. So like it kind of grew from there, but that was a great starting point. And luckily we kind of got that and had the right connections, made a great pitch. We made a great pitch, like pitching to them, because we were like well versed with like finance and financial models. So we could actually project like, hey, we can do this, and this is how much it's going to cost us, and this is how much it's going to make like profitable for you, and this is how much we can sell. And that gave them a clear picture, and I guess more confidence to kind of back us like a absolutely new startup. And it was great. Like we delivered, and uh, that was a great start to the first, I guess, 6 months or a year.
Yeah. Uh, eh, Beginner luck is, I think, usual stuff in entrepreneur's journey. But making way uh, for yourself among the big brands like Mantra and Jabong, I think, was popular at that time. How did you, make yourself uh, visible among all these brands?
Hmm. I know it was obviously super gradual. The thing we were doing differently was, let's say, we had a more like we had unique designs that were not available anywhere else. So that was one like reason why people would come to us and, let's say, not go there, because marketplaces sell similar designs usually. We were kind of like, we had all these licenses, but we were kind of, and like every license that you get, they give you a style guide where you're like, hey, here are a set of kind of artworks that are available in the system worldwide. These guides are used, but we were taking those and kind of adapting them and making them unique to ourselves. And that was how we were differentiating ourselves and how we were promoting ourselves. Like what, like your usual suspect, like a Facebook and an Instagram, was first Facebook first, and Instagram like became a bigger thing a little later down the line. But it was like, yeah, social media platforms that kind of we started advertising on them, and a lot of our success is actually owed to platforms like these.
What are the different challenges that you have faced while building and growing this venture?
That's a, I mean, you've just consistent challenges that you face. I mean, in the beginning, it was like our personal challenge would be, let's say, to understand the industry and kind of make sure that we understand what we are kind of dealing with, in the sense. Like, if you're not from the industry, do you understand what like manufacturers are telling you? Like, do you like, it's so disorganized, the space, that we might commit to our customers or our clients saying, hey, we'll deliver these products to you, but like we know that on that day also we realize that, oh, the work hasn't even started yet at the manufacturer's end. And
Mm.
like dealing with those things and understanding how the industry works was like an initial challenge, but post that, like gradually you like, there are challenges honestly every single day uh that you face, like big and small. Like um we would face like, hey, like there's so many users on the website, we've launched something big, but there's some tech glitch that or bug, like there's so much potential loss, and that's the challenge. And like you kind of learn to deal with that. Like you don't panic, you kind of adapt, and it's a mindset thing where challenges are going to come. And challenges, like it can be a tech challenge, it can be, hey, uh like maybe people within your team have friction, like, and that's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
uh, are you not building a great team, or like there are so many clients that we speak to, like your Disneys and Warner Brothers and WWE and Cartoon Network and stuff like that. Challenges dealing with them, like they come with like international guidelines, that can you follow all of them? So all of these are challenges we faced like over the number of years, and like that doesn't stop. So I guess the challenges now are bigger. Decisions that we make are kind of, repercussions are bigger because they're at a bigger scale. So it's all about the mindset on how you kind of approach problems or approach setbacks that you have. But yeah, they remain, like, and I think they are, for anyone, for any entrepreneur, I think it's just, you will consistently have them.
Any major pivots that you have done to your business model or your platform?
Yeah, I think the bigger pivot in 2015 was actually diving deep into the official merchandise space. Earlier, we were dabbling and kind of figuring it out in the first year or year and a half, and
Mhm.
then we kind of figured that that's a niche, and we need to pivot to becoming an official merch space, uh, and that gave us a great jump start. So even when we like, a pivot is not a day thing. Like we might try and be skeptical about it, but like we saw that there is demand here, and kind of just ensured that we are, if anyone kind of speaks about official merchandise and like, or designs or apparel related to movies and TV shows and cartoons and stuff like that, our name has to be there, and we need to be the biggest people having the most number of licenses and be that one-stop destination. That was one pivot when we decided to go deep, and then somewhere around 2018, we are like, okay, fine, is this official mode space going to be like big enough, or are we going to saturate at one point? And that's another pivot where we're like, oh, we need to kind of have this, and have this as a good niche for us, but we need to go beyond official merchandise and have more casual wear, and become a casual wear brand versus just an official merch design kind of brand. So two pivots, kind of big ones for us, where we kind of rethought who we are, and kind of changed that, and that'll change again, like as you kind of grow, you kind of rethink your positioning and stuff like that, and that also will change again, become even wider, and becomes a lifestyle brand, and like not just an apparel brand, it's more than clothes. So yeah.
What is the scale of operation right now? And if you can share some metrics with us, that will give us a perspective on how large you are.
In terms of number of people, we have around between 300 and 350 people on roll that work for us. And apart from that, we also work with contract workers um, in our manufacturing and warehousing units. So that's another 200-ish people. So like overall, there will be like 500 people at any given time that would be working.
Mhm.
Um, we have 5 offline stores, and 3 are in the works. 3 more are in the works in like other kind of metro cities in India. We have 4 in Bombay, 1 in Pune at the moment. We have now stores coming up, 1 more in Bombay, 1 in Bangalore, and also 1 in Delhi. So offline wise, we're kind of scaling there as well. And the objective with offline stores is primarily kind of visibility and like for people to also come and experience a physical location of the soul store and what that means.
Hmm.
Um, in terms of revenue, we are set to hit like a 200 crore GMV this year. Um, we have in we have currently have gone through two rounds of funding. One in November 2018, and one now in August 21, uh, which is great. Like it gives us or kind of validates what we're doing, and like there are now people backing you and kind of believe in your vision. So that's great. That gives us a lot more confidence to kind of keep building what you're building. This is where we are in terms of scale, in terms of like offline presence, in terms of like online sales, and like yeah, and the number of people that kind of work at the Soul Store.
Now we will talk about your personal side of being an entrepreneur. So, can you tell us why entrepreneurship? What drives you to become and be an entrepreneur?
Hmm. I mean, it's not like I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, so that's not true. I think I stumbled upon something like this, and in conversation, I'm like, yeah, why? I mean, my family has always been very like no one's really had businesses, so I was never really exposed. So I'm not. It's not like I come from a family business kind of background. So I was never really. It's not like something I always wanted to do, but I stumbled upon it, and um, wasn't averse to it. So I took a plunge at 24, being like, yeah, why not? Why shouldn't I try something that I feel like has potential to work?
Hmm.
And even if it fails, it's okay. What drives me now is, and what entrepreneurship means to me, and kind of what's driving me right now in like kind of doing what I do, is I feel like entrepreneurship has like you can make great impact with it. Yes, we sell great products and like people can buy, and like it makes them happy. Like when people kind of get their favorite Harry Potter product or a SpongeBob product or whatever that is. But what drives me personally, like obviously that drives me, and like it's exciting to see when you're like, let's say on the street or at the airport, and you see a lot of people wearing a product. So it gives a great kick to see people doing that. But what drives me currently is I think also is just the impact it can make. There's so many people who work at the Soul Store, and there's so much we can do to kind of build that. Like anyone who's working at the Soul Store is also kind of taking back their learnings and kind of what they just learn every day back to their families and experiences, and that kind of translates to so many people. Plus uh, we have now like kind of you have the power to impact people, not just by their daily work and all of that, but even social causes. Like we've done so many campaigns over the years and various issues that we kind of believe in or we are passionate about, and that like I wouldn't be able to do stuff at this scale without being an entrepreneur. So I can influence a lot of people, and that's pretty awesome that I can do that. And entrepreneurship kind of is key to doing that. What else drives me? I think this is my big one, like the impact it can make, and the people it can kind of influence, and butterfly effects of that.
Hmm.
That's my big one.
As an entrepreneur, I think you would agree it's a tiresome journey, and sometimes you may feel so tired and restless that you lose your focus and you are not able to go any further. But when that happens, the business also suffers, at least the part you are
Yeah.
managing. Uh, how do you manage such situations and come out of it?
Um, I mean, you can be stressed, and you can like kind of feel like you're always kind of uh, moving really fast.
Hmm.
And I mean, I can take my regular breaks and kind of rejuvenate and stuff like that. But I think the other, I think the other thing we might deal with while kind of going through a journey like this is motivation levels, because you need to be really motivated each day to kind of pass on that motivation to so many people that you like that are there in the team and work with you every day. And that motivation obviously fluctuates. It's not like I'm consistently motivated every day for the last 9 years. That's not true. How I kind of deal with that is, um, because I think the thing with, even when you're working on so many things at work, it's like consistency that you need. Like you consistently need to be motivated, and your goals are like, let's say, a few months down the line, or sometimes a year down the line. So that can waver your motivation, but small wins each day is kind of gives you that motivation. So I will, even at work, there'll be smaller projects that kind of you accomplish in a quicker time span, and that kind of gives you a win at work, and that keeps you motivated. So there's short term projects that kind of give you that motivation. And even on the personal front, like I will kind of become an instrument, or I'll work out, or I'll just do the smallest of things every day to kind of make sure that I'm checking things and doing things every day and completing things every day, which, or kind of making progress at things, let's say cooking or like music or like whatever it is, or exercise. And that kind of gives you like, it just motivates you that you're kind of not stuck, you're moving and you're learning and you're kind of accomplishing certain kind of goals.
Imagine that tomorrow you wake up to find that your venture has failed or gone bankrupt. What would you do?
Wow. That's a tough one. Um, I guess I hope I'm like not as financially, I'll be kind of financially sound, like, but I think what I would do is I would like want to go back. I would like maybe explore an interest that I haven't tried yet. And for me, that would be films. I'm very interested in films, and like maybe I would like kind of dabble in filmmaking. Maybe I would go to film school first, or kind of maybe do some work first. And like I have a few filmmaker friends, maybe work with them first and kind of understand and maybe experiment with that. Like I think that I've always been fascinated, and maybe that's going to be my kind of opportunity to explore that.
What is the meaning of entrepreneurship for you? How do you define the term entrepreneur?
Hmm. I guess an entrepreneur is a very generalist kind of a role in how it works. Like an entrepreneur is the generalist. So in my own organization, I would be like the generalist, and like an organization is managed by a generalist, but it's actually run and executed by like professionals.
Mm.
And that's the kind of balance you need to strike, where my role as an entrepreneur is very managerial and kind of directing a ship versus actually kind of doing the technical work, because that's not even my skill set. um, that's one way I look at it on my role, or like what an entrepreneurship is for me. And like wider than that is what I spoke about. Like I think it why entrepreneurship and how it kind of, why it should exist in a sense for me also is just, it generates employment, it kind of makes impact. And that's the reason even I am motivated, like I said. But yeah, it's that's what it is for me.
My final question for you. Tell us about the interesting lessons that you have learned as an entrepreneur, which we can take away and apply to our ventures as well.
um I guess one of them is what I mentioned earlier, which is, I think entrepreneurship is a mindset. You have to approach problems in a very, like you have to approach problems well. Like I can have a problem every day. I would have some kind of a problem or some kind of obstacle, but like either I can be demotivated about it and be like, this always happens to me, or like I don't know how to deal with this. This is really tough. Or my approach, and I can approach it with a lot of kind of confidence and an attitude which is more positive, kind of knowing that or believing that this is not a big deal. Like, or there's a saying we have in our office, which when you're thrown with like, or you come across problems, is like everything is figure outable. There is nothing you can't figure out, and all these years we have done that. So why is this problem any different? Like, this is, you will be able to figure it out, and that's the mindset we kind of approach anything with um, when it comes to this. The other thing would be we can have great ideas, but like execution is everything. Like I can sit here and come up with loads of ideas, but if I don't execute it well enough, it's just going to remain. It's not like what we do at the Soul Store is like rocket science, right? Like anyone can understand what we do, but it's in the execution, it's in the daily consistency of like or like what you're kind of building, and that's important. How
Mm-hmm.
you execute ideas is what makes a business. um, Again, with entrepreneurship over the years, with all our mistakes, we've realized hiring is so important, and building a cohesive team is everything, which is a very critical factor in you being successful, or you actually even moving, like growing faster. Like we don't have a team that's good enough, or you have a team that's good enough but doesn't work in cohesion, you just move slower. So you kind of, your trajectory will just be slower. The other thing is maybe to adapt and not be stuck to an idea, because usually our tendency, if I come up with an idea, I'll kind of want to stick to it and maybe not listen to other people's opinions, or not, or eventually if I'm seeing that this idea is not working, willing to let go of my attachment to it and kind of adapting and pivoting. And that's super important. So now I feel like I've come to a good place where I can just detach myself from ideas and be like, it's okay. Like I was really passionate about this idea earlier and we tried it, it doesn't work. I am okay with that. Um, let's move on and just like now let's pivot to something else. And this doesn't have to be business pivot. It can be business pivots also, but it can just be brand, like even what I said earlier, right? Like, are you an official merch brand, or do you want to be casual wear? We've had so many debates where we're like, oh, we are a casual wear, we are an official merch brand. Should we be selling a white shirt on the website?
Mm.
Does that make it a formal wear brand? And we're like, no, like you want, what's the larger vision? Casual wear, or like, so I can sell a white shirt. It doesn't have to look very formally. It can just be a casual white shirt, and like it's still wider than what we do. So yeah, I think the ability to adapt, and overall I think you just need consistency, day in and day out, kind of be at it, and slowly you'll see this kind of unfolding, because it's not like overnight this is going to work. So you need to know that and kind of stay motivated, like I mentioned. uh, Work on your small wins, make them happen, and then kind of also work on your mid and long term goals. So yeah, I think those are my learnings over the years. Yeah.
Well, on this point, I think we have come to the end of the session. Thanks for your time, Rohin, and best wishes
Awesome.
for Soul Store.
Awesome. Thank you so much.